If you're into action, adventure, and just a sprinkle of magic, then chances are you got a soft spot for Jackie Chan adventures. And honestly, who wouldn't? It's Jackie Chan, the Jackie Chan, but animated, fighting demons. That's enough said, right? This show has everything. Epic martial arts battles, ancient talismans with crazy powers, and a family dynamic that's equal parts heartwarming and hilarious. So grab your favorite Jade amulet and get ready to yell, "Hiya!" Because we're diving into all the action-packed, spellbinding chaos that Jackie Chan Adventures has to offer. Before diving into pure talisman-fueled chaos, let's talk about what made the show a hidden gem. Set primarily in an antique shop in San Francisco, Jackie Chan Adventures weaves high-energy action and engaging storylines into a world where ancient magic collides with modern day. Premiering in 2000, the show takes viewers on a globe-trotting adventure from this quirky hub filled with unforgettable characters and mystical intrigue. The show was loosely inspired by Jackie Chan's iconic on-screen persona, complete with martial arts, humor, and his signature charm. Alongside Jackie, his adventurous and quick-witted niece, Jade Chan, added a spark of youthful energy, often pulling him into trouble. It was a favorite on networks like Kids WB, Cartoon Network, and even gained popularity internationally. It even snagged a Daytime Emmy nomination for its writing, proving that it wasn't just another action-packed cartoon. So whether you're a longtime fan or discovering it for the first time, let's jump into the adventure that made Saturday mornings unforgettable. In the show's pilot episode, The Dark Hand, Jackie Chan is minding his own business as an archaeologist in a Bavarian castle when, bam! He stumbles upon an ancient shield. Little does he know, that thing's holding the mystical Rooster Talisman, which can make objects levitate. Back in San Francisco, things don't calm down. Jackie's world is turned upside down when his niece Jade shows up from Hong Kong, ready to kickstart her own action-packed adventure.
I have a niece?
She's curious, mischievous, and, well, trouble on 2 feet. Before Jackie can even catch his breath, the Dark Hand, basically the crime syndicate meets spooky occult club, starts sniffing around for the talisman hidden in Jackie's shield. Enter Captain Black, head of Section 13 and Jackie's old pal, who reveals just how bad the Dark Hand really is. Spoiler alert, it's pretty bad. Oh, and they've got a boss, Valmont, villain in a fancy suit. Scary indeed.
Bring me the shield.
Valmont's working for Shendu, a stone dragon sorcerer who's trapped, but still very bossy. Shendu wants all 12 talismans to regain his power, and the rooster is just the start. Naturally, he throws some Shadow Con, literal shadow ninjas, into the mix. Jackie tries to keep the talisman safe, but with Jade sneaking around, and there goes Uncle, the grouchy yet brilliant chi wizard who owns an antique shop, yelling, "One more thing every 5 minutes, it's easier said than done."
One more thing.
There goes the epic martial arts battles with the bumbling Dark Hand goons, Finn, Ratso, and Chow, who never miss a chance to mess up. In the end, Jackie outsmarts the bad guys and secures the talisman. Victory! But with 11 more talismans out there, each with its own crazy power, Jackie quickly realizes this isn't going to be a quick gig. Jackie's attempt at a peaceful lunch quickly spirals into chaos in the power within. While chowing down on dim sum, Uncle casually explains the legend of the 12 talismans, ancient magical artifacts, each with its own wild powers. Turns out, the Rooster Talisman that Jackie just recovered can make things levitate. Naturally, Jade wants in on the action, and her martial arts training results in her accidentally kicking a waiter, sending the talisman flying straight into a bowl of noodles. And because Jade never does things halfway, she eats it. Yep, the talisman is now in her stomach.
Tastes like chicken.
And if that wasn't enough, the Dark Hand's enforcers burst onto the scene. Jackie fights them off like the martial arts pro that he is, but when he realizes the talisman is missing, he assumes the enforcer stole it. Outside, the enforcers call Valmont for backup, and he sends the Shadow Con ninjas to track down the talisman. Meanwhile, Jade, trying to escape, discovers she has a literal power within. She can levitate thanks to her accidental talisman snack. Things get worse when Toru, the gentle giant who starts off as an enemy but becomes Uncle's loyal apprentice, kidnaps both Jackie and Jade, taking them to a fish cannery for some good old villain interrogation. Jade, strapped to a table, remembers her floating powers and unleashes mayhem, sending crates and fish flying everywhere. She knocks out Toru with a particularly well-aimed fish. Never underestimate seafood in a fight, and frees Jackie just in time. Jade uses her powers to lift Toru into the air and drop him into the ocean. Crisis averted, mostly. Jackie barely escapes getting flattened by the giant's fall. Back at Section 13, Captain Black, Jackie's old buddy and the head of the ultra-secretive Section 13, brushes off Jackie's magical talisman claims, but Jade is thrilled about their new underground base living situation.
It's safer for you here inside Section 13.
The kid's ready to embrace the spy life, though Jackie and Captain Black quickly squash that dream.
Does this mean I'm a secret agent?
No!
In this episode, the Mask of El Toro Fuerte, Jackie's talisman hunt takes him to Mexico in search of the Ox Talisman, which holds the power of superhuman strength. By the time Jackie gets to the pyramid, it's already missing. To make things worse, the Dark Hand shows up to crash the party. With Jade's total accidental help, Jackie escapes, but not before the hunt gets even more complicated. Later, while Jackie investigates, Jade befriends Paco, a superfan of the masked wrestler El Toro Fuerte. Paco can't stop hyping up El Toro, calling him the strongest wrestler ever. Jade isn't buying it, and starts trash-talking wrestling, claiming it's fake, that Jackie's the real deal.
He can smack your boy down. Cannot. Can too. Cannot. Can too. Cannot. Can too.
But then, Jackie spots the Ox Talisman attached to El Toro's mask, so the plan is clear. They need to get into the ring. Jackie reluctantly finds himself face-to-face with El Toro in the wrestling ring. El Toro, boosted by the talisman, sends Jackie flying. After a dream pep talk from Uncle about the talisman's powers, Jackie figures out that El Toro's strength isn't all natural.
The Ox Talisman gives El Toro superhuman strength.
Meanwhile, the Shadowcon ambush El Toro, steal the talisman, and unmask him. This leaves Paco crushed, thinking his hero is a fraud. With Jackie kidnapped by the Dark Hand and El Toro wallowing in self-doubt, Jade convinces El Toro to step up and save Jackie. In true Jade fashion, she ends up accidentally flying the plane while Jackie and El Toro fight to recover the talisman. Jade uses the talisman's power to knock out Toru with one epic kick. El Toro wins back Paco's respect by choosing honor over magic, showing true strength is about dignity. With the Ox Talisman safely back in their hands, Jackie's rescued, and El Toro redeems himself, proving to Paco that true strength comes from honor, not magic. Of course, with Jackie safe and the talisman secured, Jade and Paco dive right back into their endless debate over who's the greatest, Jackie or El Toro.
Jackie's the greatest. No, El Toro.
Spoiler alert, it's a tie. In Enter the Viper, Jackie heads to a New York museum to secure the snake talisman, which can turn its user invisible. The museum curator, overly confident in their security, assures Jackie that nothing could possibly go wrong. Enter Ratso, who's more interested in stealing than sightseeing. After a scuffle, Jackie ends up with Ratso's jacket and phone. Imitating Ratso's voice, Jackie learns that the Dark Hand plans to strike at midnight. Determined to grab the talisman first, Jackie sneaks into the museum, complete with Jade, who has predictably ignored orders to stay behind. Things get tricky when they run into Viper, a skilled thief with her eyes on the Pink Puma diamond. Jackie and Viper clash, accidentally swap their loot bags,
I am not a crook. I am an archaeologist.
and set off the alarm. Jade is thoroughly impressed with Viper's moves, but Jackie's less thrilled about being lumped in with a thief. To top it off, he's arrested for stealing the Pink Puma, while Jade secretly keeps the diamond in her pocket. Viper later discovers the snake talisman in her hall and uses its invisibility powers to free Jackie from jail. She proposes a trade. The talisman for the Pink Puma. Jade, being one step ahead, brings the diamond along, but Viper tricks them with a fake talisman and disappears. Valmont and the Shadowcon ambush Viper at her hideout, forcing her to escape invisibly.
Here.
Make sure it's real this time, Jackie.
Jackie, Jade, and Viper cross paths again during the Thanksgiving Day parade, where Shadowcon are spotted fighting an invisible foe. Jade's quick thinking, throwing paint to reveal the enemy, helps Jackie recover the talisman.
Green is totally your color.
They take the fight on a wild ride atop a parade balloon that ends with the Statue of Liberty briefly turning invisible. Back on the ground, Viper vanishes with the Pink Puma, only for Jade to reveal that she swiped it back. When the police demand answers about the invisible statue, Jackie can only... In Shell Game, the Rabbit Talisman, known for granting lightning speed, is found embedded in the shell of Aesop, a giant tortoise on the Galapagos Islands. Aesop, living the slowest life possible, gets thrust into the chaos. When the Dark Hand decides he's the perfect prize for Valmont's exotic animal-loving friend, Carl Navor.
Care to join me for dinner? Turtle soup.
Jackie tries to save the tortoise at the zoo, but ends up watching the bad guys and Aesop take off in a private jet. Not exactly his best moment. Meanwhile, Jade, ever the chaos enthusiast, tricks Uncle into thinking she's a rabbit demon just so she can sneak out and help Jackie.
We're outnumbered.
This girl is unstoppable. Reuniting at the pier, the duo watches the enforcers hand over Aesop to Navor, while the talisman itself is still with Toru. Jackie's priority is, of course, the talisman. Meanwhile, Jade's is to save a tortoise who couldn't care less. When Jackie confronts Toru, things go from bad to turbo. Toru accidentally activates the Rabbit Talisman's power, transforming into a sumo speeder. Jackie gets pummeled at lightning speed, barely managing to make Toru slip on an oil barrel and drop the talisman, which skids into the water. With the talisman in hand, Jackie channels its power to run across the water to Navor's yacht. Meanwhile, Jade sneaks aboard to save Aesop, who responds by, not moving an inch. As Jackie rescues Aesop from Navor's kitchen staff, Shendu sends the Shadowcon to crash the party.
Out here?
Jackie holds his own until the ninjas use his own oil barrel trick against him, causing him to lose the talisman. Jade saves the day, snapping the talisman back into Aesop's shell. Now lightning fast, the Turbo Tortoise and Jade grab Jackie and escape in style. Back at the zoo, Aesop is home. The Rabbit Talisman is secured at Section 13, and Jackie's wondering if a quiet day will ever come. In Project A for Astral, the Sheep Talisman is discovered on a Turkish freight train.
Jackie had a little lamb.
But before Jackie can get comfortable, the Shadowcon show up, snatch the talisman, and throw it to the enforcers in a helicopter. Things escalate fast. Missiles, a collapsing bridge,
No way he's human.
and Jackie leaping onto a helicopter to reclaim the talisman. He returns home victorious, but before he can celebrate, Uncle ropes him into researching the talisman's power. Meanwhile, Jade, not one to sit still, borrows the talisman. Turns out, the Sheep Talisman's power is astral projection. Jade's soul leaves her body, letting her fly through walls and eavesdrop like a ghostly ninja. But her joyride ends when Finn and Ratso waltz into the shop,
No way.
Yes way.
grab the talisman, and hand it over to Valmont. In true henchman style, they claim they fought Jackie for it. Zhendu sees through their story, but is thrilled, until he realizes Jade's body is unguarded. He possesses her, leaving the real Jade floating in astral limbo. Jade convinces Jackie to send her to Section 13, clearly aiming for the other talismans. Meanwhile, real Jade overhears Uncle explaining that astral forms can only communicate through dreams. Enter Jackie, who falls asleep mid-chores. Jade jumps into his dreams. Cue a surreal scene with Jackie nearly walking off the roof while dream fencing a vacuum cleaner. Jade's warning finally sinks in, and Jackie realizes Jade isn't Jade at all. He tracks her to Melvin World Amusement Park, where Shendu's spirit isn't enjoying the roller coasters.
You're evil!
Jackie?
A battle erupts, leading to a showdown on a roller coaster. Uncle's timely phone call delivers the chi spell that expels Shendu back at his statue prison, leaving Valmont unimpressed.
Shendu, back so soon?
Back so soon, Shendu? And what? No talismans? Boy, does that dragon scare me. Ugh. Jade apologizes to Jackie, who admits they lost the talisman, but credits her for saving the rest. In this episode, Bullies, Jade's school day goes sideways when she gets into it with some bullies.
That's gotta sting.
Her fiery response lands her in detention, but Jade's confidence is anything but dented. Meanwhile, the stakes are much higher for Jackie, as Valmont and the Dark Hand steal the Dragon Talisman. Its fire-blasting powers are quickly put to use in a high-stakes heist at the United States Mint.
Hot off the press.
Things take a serious turn when Captain Black is injured during Valmont's fiery robbery. Jackie, now grappling with a personal grudge, becomes determined to stop Valmont at any cost. Uncle warns him that anger won't win the day. Jackie needs to rely on his brains, not just his fists. With Fort Knox as Valmont's next target, Jackie knows the pressure is on.
Jackie Chan. Finally, we meet.
Jade, bouncing back from her schoolyard scuffle, steps up to help. The showdown at Fort Knox sees Jackie cleverly outmaneuvering Valmont and his crew. He uses surroundings and quick thinking to gain the upper hand, keeping Uncle's advice firmly in mind. Back at school, Jade's boldness earns her newfound respect, proving that sometimes you can stand up to bullies both in and out of the classroom. In Tough Break, Jackie secures the Rat Talisman, a magical artifact that can bring objects to life. After an auction house adventure, Jackie returns home, only to trip over Jade's Gnome Cop action figure.
Nothing's broken. Jackie?
Resulting in a broken leg and an understandably annoyed Jackie. Jade, feeling guilty, tries to help, but accidentally drops the Rat Talisman into Gnome Cop's battery compartment. The toy springs to life, turning from harmless action figure to pint-sized troublemaker. Gnome Cop escapes into the city, leaving a trail of mayhem behind. Despite being stuck on crutches, Jackie teams up with Jade to retrieve the talisman.
Oh, you! Don't move!
The chase is complicated by the Dark Hand, who never miss a chance to ruin Jackie's day. Gnome Cop proves surprisingly slippery, leading everyone on a wild goose chase that ends at a crowded amusement park. Jackie, showing that a broken leg can't stop a martial arts master, manages to corner the animated toy.
Where is Turbo Troll?
Jade steps in with quick thinking and extracts the talisman, turning her toy back into a lifeless hunk of plastic. The Dark Hand arrives moments too late, left empty-handed yet again. Back at Uncle's shop, Jackie reminds Jade to be more careful with magical artifacts, while Uncle grumbles about the dangers of mixing talismans with everyday items. Jade apologizes, but not before sneaking one last look at her toy, now safely in its inanimate form. In The Rock, Jackie secures the horse talisman in the Himalayas after another tussle with the enforcers. Back at Valmont's headquarters, the enforcers return empty-handed and plagued by the ever-annoying common cold, earning Shendu's wrath. Ratso mutters that Jackie would make a better employee, sparking a devious plan. At Section 13, Captain Black shows off the high-tech vault holding the talismans, but Jackie lets slip that the horse talisman is still at Uncle's shop.
If activated, the noble horse expels all alien forces within.
While Uncle deciphers its power, Jackie heads to Mount Rushmore after a tip about another talisman. What he finds isn't magic. It's a trap. Valmont ambushes him with a poison that begins turning him to stone, demanding the Section 13 talismans in exchange for the antidote. To prove the poison's potency, Valmont petrifies a fly. Back home, Uncle's remedies, including fermented beetle larvae, gross, fail to stop the spread of the poison. Jade begs Jackie to consider Valmont's deal, but Jackie refuses, prioritizing the talisman's safety. Frustrated but determined, Jade sneaks into Section 13, steals the talismans, and arranges a trade at Coit Tower. At the tower, the enforcers are surprised to see Jade with a knapsack full of talismans.
Well?
Before they can exchange them, Jackie, now half stone, arrives to crash the deal. During all of this, Toru gets the talismans but realizes one is missing: the horse talisman. Uncle arrives with the missing talisman, but when Toru sneezes while holding it, the talisman's healing power activates. Suddenly, his cold is gone. Jade realizes it also heals other ailments, rushing to trigger the talisman's magic on Jackie. In a flash, the stone effect vanishes, and Jackie's back in action. With Toru defeated, Jackie's safe, but Jade knows she has to confess her theft. Jackie, surprisingly forgiving, quips, "We can tell Captain Black you were between a rock and a hard place." Jade groans, but all's well that ends well. In the next episode, the Jade Monkey. Jackie and Jade recover the monkey talisman from the ocean near Micronesia, just in time for the enforcers to crash their party.
The talisman.
While Jackie tangles with Toru on their boat, Jade experiments with the talisman, hoping to activate its magic before seasickness takes over. She succeeds, but not without accidentally turning Jackie into a yak. Yaki-chan. It's kind of funny. Realizing the talisman's power is transformation, Jade quickly changes him back. Disaster averted, or so they think, until a massive wave capsizes the boat, knocking everybody out cold.
No!
They wake up stranded on an island filled with monkeys. Some cute and some chaotic. Jackie and Jade are separated, and Jade, now holding the talisman, tests its powers further. She tries turning a hollow log into a death ray, but instead ends up with a flapping manta ray. Lesson learned: only animal transformations allowed. However, Jade turns herself into a monkey to escape the enforcers, only to have the talisman stolen by an actual monkey.
Way not good.
Without the talisman, she's stuck as a monkey and taken in by a very motherly mama monkey. Meanwhile, Jackie tries to figure out what's happening, only for a series of misunderstandings to convince him that the monkey with the talisman is Jade. After some vine-swinging heroics, Jackie recovers the talisman but quickly loses it again to the enforcers.
Change me back.
And there goes a hilarious series of transformations. Jackie becomes a kangaroo, surprisingly effective for kicking bad guys. Jade is turned into a rabbit, and Toru debates turning Jackie into a chicken for dinner. On a cliff, Jade summons an army of monkeys with a perfect impression, forcing the enforcers to retreat. The Chans escape with the talisman. Back in San Francisco, Jade tries to share her wild island adventure at school, but her classmates remain unimpressed. Another day, another talisman secured, and another class of school children uninterested in something awesome. In The Dog and Piggy Show, Jackie recovers the dog talisman from a windmill in Holland,
You know, Toru, you really should consider coming over to the good side.
narrowly escaping Toru and breaking Valmont's magical talisman detector in the process. Back at the Dark Hand's lair, Toru's double failure earns him a sidekick, Hawk Fu, a powerhouse fighter who introduces himself with a dramatic display of strength. Toru is unimpressed, for now. Meanwhile, Jackie returns home just in time for Uncle's birthday, gifting him the dog talisman.
When I am another year younger, then I will celebrate.
Uncle, as expected, is more interested in talisman research than celebrating. Jade, unimpressed by the grumpy mood, notes that Uncle could use a little more youthful energy. Later, when Uncle discovers the talisman grants immortality and a youthful vigor boost, he decides to join Jackie and Jade on their next mission in Bavaria. The trio heads to a local chocolate factory to investigate the pig talisman. Uncle, now rejuvenated by the dog talisman, surprises everybody with his energetic dancing and enthusiasm. But when night falls, the action heats up as Jackie infiltrates the factory and encounters Hak Fu,
I am Hak Fu, the last human you will ever lay eyes upon.
who wastes no time showing off his signature animal-inspired fighting moves. Jackie takes a beating until Uncle shows up and delivers a masterclass in old-school kung fu, taking Hak Fu by surprise. At the town's clock tower, where the pig talisman is embedded in a mechanical pig's hat, a fight breaks out as Hak Fu gains the talisman's powers, firing heat beams from his eyes like a budget superhero. Jackie, Jade, and Uncle work together to outwit him, leading to a slapstick finale where Hak Fu and Toru fall from the tower, colliding in mid-air and crashing onto a market cart. In the end, the Chans escape the collapsing clock tower. Talismans in hand, Uncle, once the life of the party, declares that being young is just too much work, and happily returns to his cranky self. Mission accomplished. The Tiger and the Pussycat. The search for the Tiger Talisman takes Jackie and Jade to a Texas county fair, where it somehow ended up in a pie-eating contest. Things get messy when an elderly contestant bites into the talisman. Jackie and Jade manage to snag it, leaving a pie-covered Toru fuming.
Yin and yang, light and dark.
Back at Uncle's shop, the Tiger Talisman reveals its power, spiritual balance. Unfortunately, it also reveals a crack. Before Jackie can secure it, the talisman splits into two, and so does Jackie. One version of him becomes overly sensitive and teary-eyed, Jackie Light, while the other becomes a no-holds-barred candy thief, Jackie Dark. Uncle quickly realizes the talisman has split Jackie's yin and yang, and the two halves are not keen on reuniting. The Dark Hand, not missing a beat, invades the shop. Jackie Dark eagerly takes on Toru and his crew, showing a surprisingly effective mean streak, while Jackie Light flees with Jade, trying not to trip over his own feet. The two Jackies separately deal with the enforcers until both are captured and brought to Valmont. Shendu recognizes the talisman's effect, prompting Valmont to offer Jackie Dark a deal.
You know, Chan, you're all right.
Too bad we gotta eliminate ya.
Talismans in exchange for wealth. Meanwhile, Jade rescues Jackie Light with a little help from some well-placed fireworks. The story ramps up as Jackie Dark sneaks into Section 13, stealing the talismans while dodging Jade and Captain Black. When the two Jackies finally face off, Jade realizes the only way to save the day is by forcing them to work together. After the chaos, Jade's plan almost works, until Valmont completes the Tiger Talisman, restoring Shendu to his full terrifying form. In the Season 1 finale, Day of the Dragon, Shendu finally gets what he's been scheming for, all 12 talismans. Transformed into a towering dragon, he wastes no time flexing his power. He blasts Jackie out of Valmont's office like yesterday's garbage. Jade barely escapes as the floor collapses beneath her. But Jackie saves the day by grabbing a window washer's cable, catching her mid-fall. Teamwork makes the dream work, even with terrified bystanders. Back in the office, Valmont demands the treasure Shendu promised.
No treasure for you.
Instead, he gets flicked out of the building by a smug Shendu, landing just in time to be arrested by Captain Black. Shendu takes off, leaving Captain Black questioning reality, and Jackie wondering how to stop a dragon with world-ending ambition. At Uncle's shop, Toru shows up battered but alive, offering crucial intel. The demon is Shendu, and his endgame is destroying all of Asia. Uncle uncovers a spell to counter Shendu. Jackie must remove the Rat Talisman to revert Shendu back into his statue form.
Jackie, I have to come with you. I'm an essential part of the Jade Team.
Armed with magic balm and determination, Jackie and Uncle head to China with Section 13. Jade naturally sneaks out of Section 13 to join the fight. At Shendu's palace, chaos unfolds as Shendu opens a portal to summon dragon minions. Jackie, dodging fireballs and razor-sharp claws, works to remove talismans one by one. But Shendu's no pushover, and things are even darker when Jade shows up on the battlefield.
Whoa! Jade, how did you...
Your hands!
Despite Jackie's protests, Jade leaps onto Shendu's back, using Uncle's potion to snatch the dog talisman. With her quick thinking and Jackie's resilience, they grab the Rat Talisman, forcing Shendu back into his statue form. But Jade isn't done. She picks up the Dragon Talisman and blasts Shendu into smithereens, ensuring he's not coming back. The palace crumbles, the portal closes, and the Chans escape with seconds to spare.
There is a void for a new, stronger evil to fill.
Back home, peace returns. Though Uncle warns of a new evil on the horizon. Jade, however, has some good news. Her parents have agreed to let her stay with Jackie and Uncle for another year. Kicking off Season 2 in The Mother of All Battles, we dive into Toru's softer side and his toughest challenge yet, his mom. When Jade notices Toru acting down, she learns his formidable mother is coming to visit. Turns out, Toru has always struggled to win her approval, and it's easy to see why when she arrives.
Ugh! You gave up a good job with nice Mr. Valmont for this?
She's sharp-tongued, quick to criticize, and immediately clashes with Uncle. She dismisses Toru's current job and humble living arrangements, completely unaware of his criminal past turned honorary good guy story. While Jackie tries to play peacemaker between the fiery elders, Captain Black calls with a mission: protect the Kyoto octopus from the Yokonawa, a crime family at the Japanese Cultural Expo. Meanwhile, Toru takes his mom to her hotel only to be scolded for not owning a car.
A boy your age doesn't even own a car! Makes his mother walk in a typhoon!
On the way home, he stops by a sushi restaurant, big mistake. It's a Yokonawa base. When their thugs mock Toru for leaving his criminal days behind, he quickly puts them in their place, literally hanging them by their collars. Impressed, the Yokonawa boss rolls up in a limo, offering Toru a ride. He pretends to join the gang, tipping off Jackie about their plan to steal the Kyoto octopus. At the expo, the Yokonawa launch an attack. Jackie and Toru fight back, but the octopus vanishes, and a smoke bomb knocks them out. The duo wakes up hanging over a shark tank in the Yokonawa hideout.
You give us the octopus, or your boys to a meet and greet with the shark.
Meanwhile, Jade, who swiped the octopus for safekeeping, hands it over to Uncle, who heads to the gang's HQ with Toru's mom. The boss, of course, plans to double-cross them. But he underestimates Uncle and Toru's mom, who unleash a flurry of surprising moves, proving they're not to be messed with. As Jackie and Toru escape the shark tank and rescue Jade, the boss tries to flee with the octopus. Jackie, in classic style, stops him with a yo-yo. Section 13 arrives, wrapping up the baddies. Toru's mom praises her son's bravery, but sneaks in one last jab at Uncle. Toru and Jade head to the expo, leaving Jackie to break up yet another squabble between the elders. In this next episode, The Stronger Evil. The Dark Hand relocates to Helm's Fish Cannery, swapping treasure hunting for talisman-powered robbery.
12 talismans, 4 enforcers, 3 each.
With Hawk Fu replacing Toru as Valmont's muscle, the enforcers divide the talismans for their new crime spree. Meanwhile, Shendu, now a spirit trapped in the netherworld, faces the wrath of his demon siblings. Furious over his failure to free them, they torture him with their elemental powers until he promises to find a way out, by possessing a human host, with Jackie Chan being his first choice, of course.
I will choose my vessel well to best serve you.
Back in San Francisco, Jackie and Jade are adjusting to life at Section 13 since Uncle's shop is a bit too cozy with Toru now living there. But downtime is short-lived when Captain Black announces the Dark Hand's latest attack. Armed with talismans, the Enforcers wreak havoc, easily overpowering Section 13. Jackie, who's just trying to live a normal life, ends up in the middle of the chaos once again.
I need you, Jackie. One last time.
On a rainy beach, as Jackie confronts the Enforcers, Shendu's spirit swoops in to possess him. But just as Jackie stands ready, Valmont sneakily kicks him off a cliff, inadvertently making himself Shendu's new host. The irony isn't lost on anybody, least of all Shendu, now trapped in the body of someone he despises. Possessed Valmont rounds up the Enforcers and reveals his demonic identity, focusing their efforts on freeing his siblings. That night, he storms Uncle's shop, knocking out Toru and Uncle in his search for a crucial book. Jade, ever resourceful, calls for help. But Shendu escapes with the book before Jackie and Captain Black arrive, which then leads them to a rooftop, where Shendu, still in Valmont's body, summons the Shadow Khan.
Destroy them.
The sudden flood of ninjas sends Jackie and his team into a desperate fight for survival. With Shendu's power back in play and his siblings' release looming, Jackie faces a new larger-than-life threat. And to think he just wanted a quiet day for once. In the Jade Team, cornered by an army of Shadow Khan, Jackie and Captain Black are only saved by Uncle's chi spell, with Toru and Jade pitching in to send the ninjas poofing into thin air. Back at the shop, Jackie learns that Shendu stole one of Uncle's books. To figure out which one, Uncle insists on inventory. And there goes everybody spending hours fixing shelves. While Jackie grumbles about the mess, Jade decides to up the stakes by calling in reinforcements: Viper, El Toro Fuerte, and Paco. Her plan is to form a dream team to take down the Dark Hand.
J-Team, a Chan clan, the Chantastic Five.
While Jackie's not exactly thrilled, Uncle identifies the missing book, which contains details about artifacts in Tibet. While Uncle and Jackie head off to follow the lead, Jade drags the entire Jade team to Tibet. When they all cross paths, chaos erupts. Jackie and Viper's attempts to quietly steal back the talismans backfire, waking the Enforcers. Hawk Fu goes straight for Jackie, but Toru and El Toro make their grand entrances, throwing bad guys across the room like they're in a pro wrestling match. Despite the effort, the Dark Hand escapes with Shendu, but it doesn't stop there. The showdown leads to an ancient chamber where Shendu reveals his prize, the Penku box, the key to releasing his demon siblings. The Enforcers, using their talismans, charge into battle, but the J-Team fights back with unmatched teamwork. Toru lands a crushing blow on Hawk Fu, and the rest of the Enforcers' attempts to swap talismans only lead to disaster. The J-Team eventually claims all 12 talismans, forcing the Dark Hand to retreat. Unfortunately, Shendu still gets away with the box.
Only thing which could locate and unlock those portals is the Penku box itself.
Uncle drops the big news. Shendu has 7 demon siblings, each trapped in parallel dimensions. And now, Shendu holds the one artifact that can unleash them. As the J-Team parts ways at the airport, it's clear that the real fight is just beginning. With this episode, Jade times Jade, the Dark Hand finally figures out how to use the Penku box. Or rather, Valmont kicks it open in frustration, accidentally solving its puzzle. The holographic map reveals the next demon portal's riddle, that which runs but never walks to a mouth that never talks. But before they can dig deeper, the map disappears. Frustrated, but undeterred, they decide the portal must be in Tokyo, Japan.
Perhaps it is time for me to train an apprentice of my own.
Meanwhile, back at Uncle's shop, chaos reigns as Uncle announces Toru will be his new apprentice. Jade, not thrilled about being passed over, sneaks a look at a chi spellbook and finds a duplication spell. Testing it on a priceless vase, she successfully turns it into 2. Encouraged by her success, she decides to duplicate herself. One Jade to tackle homework, the other to tag along with Jackie to Tokyo. In Tokyo, the Dark Hand struggles to solve the riddle, hilariously mistaking a giant mascot statue for the portal's location.
I suppose it's worth a look.
Jackie follows them up the statue, only to be interrupted by Jade and her unexpected duplicate. Back at the shop, Uncle is livid over the multiplying vase, only to realize Jade is behind the magical mishap. The situation spirals out of control when the duplication spell keeps multiplying Jade's clones mid-mission. What starts as a quirky inconvenience quickly becomes a full-blown crisis. Jackie and the Dark Hand crash into a toy store after a game of keep away, with the Penku box falling into the villain's hands. Later, Jackie deciphers the riddle and identifies the portal as a river.
A river runs but never walks, has a mouth which never talks.
The Dark Hand gets there first, releasing Po Kong, the mountain demon. True to her name, she's massive, and things look grim, until Jade's clone army shows up, overwhelming Po Kong with sheer numbers. With Uncle and Toru's timely arrival, the team seals Po Kong back in the portal using a drum spell. Meanwhile, the real challenge is dealing with thousands of multiplying Jades. Toru's finishing charm fixes the mess when Jackie tricks the clones into revealing the original. Jade is grounded. In Showdown in the Old West, Jackie, Uncle, and Jade are on their way back from an estate sale in Reno when they come across a dusty Old West ghost town.
I have heard that my great-great-grandfather came out west and lived in a cowboy town.
Jackie's curiosity gets the better of him. Apparently, his great-great-grandfather lived in a place like this. Jade, unimpressed by ghost town vibes, quickly finds something interesting, an old pulp novel titled The Hong Kong Kid. The cowboy on the cover happens to be a carbon copy of Jackie. Naturally, she insists on unraveling this mystery. As Jackie starts reading, the story shifts to his ancestor, another Jackie, a railroad worker who gets roped into becoming the sheriff of the town. His trusty companion is a fellow worker who looks suspiciously like Toru. Turns out the shady Mayor Valmont has plans to rob a stagecoach.
I trust the preparations are complete.
Indeed they are, Shendu.
Carrying gold and a horse talisman. And he figures Sheriff Jackie is just a patsy who'll fail to stop him. Meanwhile, the sheriff's young niece, who's definitely Jade reincarnated, teams up with a wandering peddler who could double as Uncle's doppelganger. Together, they piece together Valmont's plot. With outlaws, Finn and Ratso adding their usual incompetence, the town is ripe for a face-off. Jackie's ancestor takes on Valmont, and his gang outsmarts their traps.
Ever been locked in a 4-foot stall with a bucking bronco?
Valmont ends up tied to a cactus, Finn's lasso skills backfire, and Jade's ancestor beams with pride, proving bravery really is in the bloodline. Back in the present, Jade declares this is the coolest family history lesson ever. Uncle mutters about trouble following their lineage, and Jade is already searching the ghost town for more treasure. In Queen of the Shadow Khan, Jackie secures an ancient demon book that Uncle promises will end the demon portals for good. But the Shadow Khan ambushes him, and Jackie makes a daring escape using a curtain as a makeshift parachute.
I'm gonna have the gnarliest tattoo in the history of gnarl!
Meanwhile, Jade, inspired by a playground tattoo trend, creates her own tattoo using a symbol from the book. What she doesn't realize is this symbol comes with side effects. Back at the Dark Hand hideout, Valmont whines about wearing a dress. It's a sorcerer's robe, according to Shendu. When their plan to retrieve the book falters, Shendu orders the enforcers to try harder. Enter Hak Fu, who's all too eager to join the madness. At Uncle's shop, Jade's tattoo reveals its sinister nature when it won't wash off. Uncle panics, recognizing the symbol as a mark of great evil.
We must find a spell to remove it immediately.
Hak Fu corners Jade in an alley, only to be driven away by the Shadow Khan, who now take orders from Jade. And there goes the confusion, as Jade starts to realize she has some serious ninja backup. The next morning, Jade tests her newfound power at school, commanding Shadow Khan to fetch her breakfast. Jackie grows suspicious of her all-black outfit, but Jade brushes him off. The enforcers steal the demon book, and Jade sends the Shadow Khan to retrieve and spank the thieves. Things spiral out of control when the tattoo corrupts Jade, transforming her into the Queen of the Shadow Khan. She takes over Section 13, detaining Captain Black and declaring it her palace. Jackie sneaks in disguised as a Shadow Khan, with Uncle's potion to remove the tattoo. After another battle with Shendu, the potion shatters, leaving Jackie to rely on Jade's sense of right and wrong. Realizing Shendu's betrayal, Jade orders the Shadow Khan to destroy the book, sealing Shendu's plans. Back home, Jade feels guilty about her actions, but earns praise from Jackie for saving the day, though Uncle's still not over the whole tattoo debacle. In the next episode, Origami, Jackie's expertise in ancient artifacts sends him to Paris to authenticate a priceless painting. But before he can finish admiring the brushstrokes, the artwork is swiped by Origami, a master thief with the mind-boggling ability to fold himself like paper. One minute he's there, and the next, flat as a crepe and gone with the wind.
He bent like this, folded like that, twisted over, then again, then he looked just like this.
Back in San Francisco, Jade decides Jackie could use some extra help catching the slippery thief. Enter Viper, the reformed cat burglar who knows a thing or two about stealing high-profile treasure. Jackie reluctantly agrees, setting the stage for an unlikely team-up. The trail takes them to the Parisian underworld, where Origami's origami-like abilities allow him to evade every trap. At one point, Jackie nearly catches him, only to end up tangled in a street vendor's kite display. Meanwhile, Viper schools Jade on the finer points of thievery.
Jumping into a fight before you're needed usually makes things worse.
But
Strictly for educational purposes, of course. Using Viper's insight, the group closes in on Origami at a high-stakes art auction. The thief folds himself into a paper crane and escapes through the skylight. They make their way to the Eiffel Tower, where Jackie's martial arts skills and Viper's cunning corner Origami. The painting is recovered, and Origami is folded into police custody. Back home, Jade beams at her contribution to the mission. In the Lotus Temple, Jade, Jackie, and a monk are on a mission to uncover the mystical scroll of Hung Chao. Jackie tells Jade to fetch firewood.
Whoever gets the firewood is always the Creeping Terror's first victim.
Of course, she doesn't comply, and instead she finds the legendary Lotus Temple and meets Shu Lin, a young girl cursed to turn into a terrifying guardian monster whenever someone intrudes. Shu Lin explains she's been stuck protecting the temple ever since she wandered in 5 years ago. Talk about a bad sleepover. Jade, always eager for an adventure, promises to help her break the curse. Meanwhile, Jackie and the monk realize Jade has vanished again and track her to the temple. Jackie heads inside while the monk suspiciously volunteers to stay outside. Spoiler, it's a setup. Once Jackie enters, Shu Lin transforms into her monstrous form, complete with icy breath, lighting up a fight. While Jackie dodges ice attacks, the monk sneaks in and conveniently stumbles into the library. Jackpot. He finds the scroll of Hung Chao and reveals his true colors. He was after it all along. But just as he's gloating, Jackie and Shu Lin crash into the library after freezing and collapsing half the temple. Shu Lin reverts to human form, but the monk is already plotting his next move. Armed with the scroll's power, the monk inscribes a chi symbol on his palm, granting him energy-blasting abilities. He even animates a suit of armor to do his dirty work. While Jackie wrestles the armor, Shu Lin warns Jade she's about to transform again. Jade convinces her to invite Jackie into her protective zone to prevent an accidental smackdown. Jackie uses newly inscribed chi powers to summon a tornado, dismantling the armor and blasting the monk away. Shu Lin, now fully transformed, wraps the monk in her magical hair, but dawn approaches fast. In a last-ditch effort, Jackie cuts Shu Lin's hair with a naginata, breaking the curse. The trio escapes as the temple and the monk vanish with the sunrise. Outside, Shu Lin thanks Jackie and Jade, but Jade, being Jade, suggests recreating the chi symbol.
I'll bet we could redraw those inscriptions on your hands. I mean, it'd take a few tries.
While Jackie's response is a firm, no, focus on school. In Tale of the Demon Tale, the Chan's latest demon hunting escapade takes them to Boston, where they're staking out a baseball stadium. This time, the target is Shi Wu, the Sky Demon, a winged sorcerer with a deep passion for stirring up trouble and flying away from it. Jade, hyped up on soda and ignoring her prime game tickets, rushes to the restroom, unwittingly stumbling into the portal's exact location. As Shendu, Chao, and Ratso activate the Penku box, Shi Wu begins to emerge.
Welcome back, Shi Wu.
But Jackie shows up to crash the party, keeping the enforcers busy. Uncle and Toru prep their sealing spell as Shi Wu makes his dramatic entrance, only to be derailed when Jade unknowingly slams the restroom door on his tail. Severed, but still wriggling, the tail lands in the Chan's hands, while the demon himself retreats. Section 13 swoops in to scatter Shendu's crew, leaving the Chans with a feisty trophy, Shi Wu's animated tail. At Uncle's shop, the tail gets locked away under heavy protection, but Shi Wu has other plans. Shapeshifting into a boy named Seymour, he befriends Jade after heroically standing up to her classmate Drew. Soon, Seymour charms his way into Uncle's shop.
Come on in.
Okay.
His plan is to retrieve his tail, but is thwarted when Uncle catches them, forcing Seymour to lie to save Jade from a scolding. Later, Uncle hatches a plan. Coat the tail in Shi magic so it banishes Shi Wu once reattached. Meanwhile, Jade invites Seymour to her school dance, even gifting him half of a friendship medallion. Seymour seizes his chance and snatches the tail, revealing his true demonic form. He kidnaps Uncle to force him to remove the spell, but Uncle, ever resourceful, leaves a trail of mung beans for Jackie and Toru to follow. Jade, breaking every rule in the book, nabs 3 talismans and flies off to save Uncle. After a sky-high chase, Shi Wu reclaims his tail, but the reattachment triggers Uncle's chi spell. With Jackie's flute-playing finesse, Shi Wu is sent packing back to the netherworld. In the end, Jade laments losing a friend, but Toru's steadfast support earns him the medallion half instead. Seriously though, who needs a Seymour when you've got a Toru? In this next episode, Demon World Part 1, Shendu, still reeling from his siblings' wrath, unveils one last desperate plan, rewriting history itself with the Book of Ages.
I've been waiting never dare to tamper with that.
The magical tome, hidden in Australia's Uluru, can alter reality with just a few strokes. Despite the risk of changing the timeline forever, the demons let Shendu proceed, and his spirit sets off to possess Jackie. Back in the mortal world, the Chans are on their best behavior, visiting Jade's parents and hiding their chaotic adventures. But the peaceful tea time doesn't really last. Shendu takes over Jackie's body, bursting through the house and leaving Toru, Uncle, and Jade scrambling to stop him.
So reckless!
Shendu, now using Jackie as his vessel, reaches Uluru and starts rewriting history. Jade tries to interfere, but only manages to tear a page from the Book of Ages before the spell completes. In the blink of an eye, the world transforms into a nightmare. Shendu and his siblings rule as the 8 emperors, humanity is enslaved, and magic is outlawed. Jade wakes up in the dystopian reality, still clutching the torn page and realizing she's the only one who remembers the original timeline. Sneaking into Shendu's palace, she finds Uncle working as a bookkeeper, and Jackie reduced to a timid servant.
What a good slave you make, Jackie-chan.
Convincing them of the truth, the 3 hatch a daring plan to undo Shendu's changes by stealing the talismans embedded in his body. Their covert operation takes them to Shendu's bedroom, where they attempt to extract the talismans with Uncle's magic bomb. Just as they're making progress, Shendu awakens, ready to defend his newfound empire. In Demon World Part 2, Jackie's trusty dog talisman saves him from becoming Dragon Barbecue, while the Ox Talisman lets him return the favor with a stunning punch to Shendu. After a quick check of their inventory, the Chans realize they've got a solid lineup of talismans.
Ooh, good ones.
Dragon, Snake, Rooster, Rabbit, and of course the life-saving dog. Using their combined powers, they escape Shendu's palace on a makeshift flying carpet. Knowing they can't face the fortress guarding the Book of Ages alone, the Chans set out to reunite the Jade team. As for the first stop, Toru, who's working in Pokong's salt mine. A little teamwork sends the mountain demon packing back to the netherworld. Next, they free El Toro Fuerte and Paco, who's been enslaved by Xiao Feng.
Sing for me, my little caged songbird.
Tweet, tweet.
With the wind demon banished, they continue their rescue mission, breaking Viper out of Shi Wu's sky-high palace. Unfortunately, their demon banishing spree is interrupted when Shang Tsu crashes the party, bringing thunder and chaos. The J-Team fights valiantly against the Thunder Demon, with Paco of all people saving the day by conveniently finding castanets to complete the banishment spell. But there's no time to celebrate. Jade's watch and the Ox Talisman fall from Shi Wu's tower, landing right in Shendu's claws. Worse, Shendu realizes that Jade remembers the original timeline and is heading for the Book of Ages to rewrite history. As the J-Team reaches Australia, Jade gives Jackie a much-needed pep talk.
Jackie, I can teach you what you taught me. You game?
Game.
By reminding him of the martial arts lessons he taught her in the unaltered timeline. Boosted by her encouragement, Jackie leads the team in taking down the Shadow Khan guarding the fortress. Things heat up when the remaining demons, Bai Za, Dai Gui, Solan, and Shendu, arrive together, forcing the team to split up. The situation looks grim as the heroes are captured one by one.
Surrender. Your team has been neutralized.
But Jade, showing her trademark quick thinking, taps into the Book of Ages power to supercharge her friends. Jackie grows to a towering 20 feet, while Toru and Viper gain powers of their own. Uncle gets in on the action too, using the book to banish the demons for good. With one final move, Jade reattaches the torn page, resetting reality in a magical ripple effect. The Chans find themselves back in Jade's parents' home, just as they were before Shendu's plan. Somehow, the J-Team tags along for the ride, memories of the altered timeline intact. Luckily, Jade's parents remain blissfully unaware of the chaos, and Jackie gives Jade a subtle nod of approval for her heroic efforts. Taking us to Season 3 in The Powers Unleashed. The Dark Hand is in financial freefall after their endless quest for Shendu's talismans and demon portals. Desperate for a win, Valmont orders the Enforcers to break into Section 13 and steal the talismans. But their plans hit a major snag when Dao Lon Wong, a sinister Dark Chi wizard, arrives in San Francisco to claim the talismans for himself. Uncle senses trouble brewing and heads to Section 13 with Toru. Meanwhile, Wong easily breaks into the vault, but before he can savor his success, the Enforcers swipe the talismans. Wong retaliates by summoning his Dark Chi warriors, sparking a chaotic brawl. Jackie, Uncle, and Toru join the fray, with Uncle sealing Wong's warriors in the Urn of Wei Cheng. Just as Jackie destroys the talismans with a high-powered laser, the Chans think it's over, but Uncle delivers some bad news. The talisman powers can't be destroyed. Instead, they're transferred into noble animals scattered around the globe, and Wong knows it.
Jackie just started the talisman hunt all over again? Cool.
The first stop on the new quest leads both sides to a local dog show. Wong believes the dog talisman's power of immortality is hidden in one of the contestants. But confusion breaks loose as neither side can identify the right dog. Amid this, Jade befriends a scrappy stray lurking near the show. She names him Scruffy and sticks close to her. The search takes them to a nearby park where Wong confronts the Chans. Wong unleashes a deadly spell aimed at the group, but Scruffy leaps to protect them and miraculously survives. With Wong and his new warriors closing in, Uncle and Toru arrive to banish Wong just in time. The Chans take Scruffy back to Section 13, where Toru casts a protection spell to keep Wong out. In Viva Lost Jackies, the Chans find themselves in Las Vegas, chasing down the noble tiger and its mystical power. Forget the poker tables and neon lights, the real jackpot tonight is the tiger's talisman magic. However, things get a little dicey when the tiger's power activates and splits Jackie into two halves. Brave Jackie, a fearless thrill-seeker, and careful Jackie, the walking definition of caution. The split couldn't have happened in a more chaotic place. Brave Jackie charges through the strip, diving into every risky lead on the tiger, while careful Jackie overanalyzes every step, insisting on calculating probabilities of danger. Their polar opposite approaches lead to a string of comedic disasters. Jade, always the voice of selective reason, tries wrangling the two Jackies. As the chase continues, clues lead the team to a big-top circus. Brave Jackie tries swinging across trapeze wires, while careful Jackie stands back muttering, "This is against safety protocol."
Thank you.
While the tiger's power manifests in the middle of a lion-taming act, scattering performers and sending the lions into a frenzy. Thankfully, Uncle's Taoist magic saves the day. Using a yin-yang spell, he merges the two Jackies back together just in time to retrieve the tiger's power. In Aztec Rat Race, the quest for the talisman-powered animals takes the Chans to the vibrant landscapes of Mexico. Here, Jackie and Jade team up with El Toro and his ever-loyal sidekick, Paco.
Which is the rat that we want? The one with the power to bring motion to the motionless, Moose Boy.
Their adventure takes them to an abandoned silver mine where they discover the noble rat. But activating its power awakens more than they bargained for. A statue of Quetzalcoatl, the mighty Mayan god, springs to life. The reanimated Quetzalcoatl isn't just a sightseeing highlight. He's on the move, and he's not alone. The fearsome Daolin Wong and his Dark Chi warriors are also hot on the trail.
I will take the rat.
Determined to capture the noble rat and harness its power for their dark deeds. A wild and dusty chase ensues through the winding paths of the ancient mine. Jackie and El Toro work in sync, combining their martial arts and luchador wrestling skills in a dynamic tag team effort to fend off Wong's minions. Just when it seems that they've been cornered, the noble rat reveals its clever nature, outsmarting Wong by leading him right into a decoy trap set up by Jade. The episode climaxes with a dramatic showdown, as Wong nearly captures the rat, only for Quetzalcoatl to intervene, deciding he prefers the peace of his eternal slumber over joining Wong's collection of magical creatures. With a mighty swoosh of his feathered serpentine tail, he sends Wong and his warriors tumbling back. The noble rat, now safely in their care, scurries around playfully, waiting for the mayhem to happen.
I think it likes you, Senor Forte. Cute.
Hold on to your hats, folks, because things are about to get bananas in Monkey Aogo. Our story kicks off with a pair of construction workers who stumble upon a seemingly harmless monkey doll at a demolition site. Little do they know, pulling the doll's leg, as instructed by the rhyme on its back, unleashes a whirlwind of magic, transforming the worker into a motionless doll, and the monkey into a mischievous 6-foot-tall trickster known as the Monkey King. Armed with a stolen jackhammer and a vendetta, he wastes no time in wreaking havoc and crushing a wall carving of Jackie and Jade to bits.
Tell me where your pals are, puny, or I'll harpoon a whale!
Meanwhile, Uncle has tracked the magic of the Monkey Talisman, now known for its shape-shifting powers, to the sunny shores of Hawaii. He's not the only one with his sights set on the talisman's magic. Daolin Wong is also in pursuit, but gets bamboozled by Uncle's tech-savvy trick, leaving him fuming at a looping video of Uncle's taunting Raspberry. The noble monkey, named Haiku, is discovered residing with a Japanese ambassador. Initially skeptical, the ambassador is soon convinced of the Chan's clan's claims when Haiku, startled, transforms into a pigeon and flies the coop. Jade gives chase, but the family reunion is cut short by the grand entrance of the Monkey King, who's followed a trail of chaos straight to our heroes.
The king is back!
Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, the scene shifts to a dramatic rooftop confrontation, where the Monkey King, donning a Grim Reaper outfit, threatens our heroes with a scythe. Jackie's quick quip about the lack of humor in this revenge momentarily stumps the comedy-loving king. Seizing the moment of confusion, the Monkey King then shifts gears, deciding that a luau would be a more fitting venue for his revenge. Okay? He ties Jackie and Uncle to a spit over an open fire. You know, luau style. As Jade finally catches up with Haiku, the tourists are more entertained by Haiku's antics than the Monkey King's lackluster show, driving him into a jealous rage. He snatches Haiku and flees across the sea to a volcanic island with a chance hot on his tail.
The Monkey King cannot activate volcanoes. Just watch me, Gramps.
Which takes them to the edge of an erupting volcano where the monkey plans to enhance his powers with a magical spell. But as usual, his arrogance gets the better of him, allowing Jackie to rescue Haiku during a scuffle with Daolin Wong. The spell goes awry, transforming the molten lava into harmless cherry gelatin, thanks to a comically misplaced ingredient by the Monkey King himself. As the crimson wave of what seemed like impending doom solidifies into cherry gelatin under their feet, Jackie peers at the Monkey King's puppet submerged in the gooey mess below. With a wry smile, he quips, "Well, looks like the Monkey King bit off more than he could chew this time."
It looks like the last laugh is on the Monkey King.
Get ready for a high-altitude adventure because in the Oxhead incident, the Chans and Toru are scaling the frosty heights of the Himalayas. They make it their mission to find the noble animal harboring the Ox Talisman's power. They locate it swiftly enough.
We must go back down and come up other way.
But twist of fate, it's on the other side of the mountain. As they plan their route, an unexpected avalanche roars down. Turns out, the avalanche was none other than a super strong yak making its grand entrance, bulldozing through the mountain because it smelled Jade's energy bar. Talk about a powerful snack craving. But just as they're about to guide the yak to safety, guess who crashes the party? The enforcers, always on standby to stir up trouble, push our heroes to the edge.
We care about you guys, but Daolin Wong's been riding us to get rid of you.
Literally. With quick thinking, Jade saves the day by toppling a hefty rock onto the enforcers. Whew, close call. But the relief is short-lived, as they end up in the lair of the Dark Chi wizard, Daolin Wong. Wong's about to unleash his wrath for their failures when Hawk Fu purrs in, displaying his might by knocking out the enforcers one by one. Despite his advice to abandon the Ox Talisman quest, Wong, stubborn as ever, transforms Hawk Fu into a formidable Dark Chi warrior. Back at camp, Uncle's concocting a secretive spell to transfer the Ox's power to another vessel, but Wong's on his trail, entering a trance to disrupt the transfer. Despite Wong's interference, Uncle completes his spell, but Wong captures Uncle's life force in a magic orb, teleporting away with Hawk Fu. Meanwhile, Toru and Jade juggle crafting a cowbell to locate the talisman power, turning monks into guinea pigs by accident. While Jackie infiltrates Wong's lair to rescue Uncle's life force. They discover the Ox's power now resides in Uncle's dormant body, which Hawk Fu snatches just in time. Jackie challenges Hawk Fu's allegiance to Wong. As spells fly and cliffs crumble, Uncle's life force is freed, reuniting with his body just in time to shake the ground beneath Wong. Hawk Fu, too caught up in his new powers, underestimates Uncle's supernatural strength and finds himself outmatched and off the cliff. As the dust settles, the Chans work to transfer the Ox's power back to the yak, ensuring it's delivered safely to Section 13. And just like that, our heroes are ready to roll out, leaving the Himalayan peaks with one more talisman power secured and plenty of tales to tell. In Reenter the Dragon, the Chans spark up a mystical maelstrom at Uncle's rare finds, centering their spell around a dragon totem in hopes of locating the elusive power of combustion. But alas, the locator spell fizzles to nothing, unveiling a stark reality. There are no noble dragons left on Earth to harness his fiery power.
The only one left on Earth was Shendu, and he's doing afterlife in the interdimensional slammer.
And now the last of their kind, Shendu, is now a mere spirit shackled in the demon netherworld. While Shendu's brooding in the spectral sidelines, Daolin Wong, ever the ambitious Dark Chi wizard, is busy concocting a sinister plan in his sanctuary. He reaches out to Shendu, striking a devil's bargain. Resurrect the dragon in exchange for the blazing power of combustion. Clearly, Wong has never heard the saying about making deals with dragons. Or has he? The scene shifts to Section 13. They're on a mission to concoct new talisman vessels for the noble animal's powers, as the original talismans crafted by Toru turned out to be duds. Meanwhile, Jade's curiosity sparks when Scruffy barks, and the dragon totem resonates mysteriously. hinting at a dragon nearby. Their investigation leads them straight to Wong's lair, where he's midway through a ritual that would shame any mad scientist. He's literally brewing a new body for Shendu in a magical molten cocoon.
Shendu!
As Shendu emerges, reborn and ravenous for power, he snatches the power of combustion right from under Wong's nose, reminding the wizard that demons and promises don't mix. Back at Section 13, Captain Black's troops brace for a mythical showdown, echoing Uncle's wise words,
Magic must defeat magic!
Magic must defeat magic. But when Shendu crashes the party, all bets are off. Weapons falter against dragon fire, and Jackie, in a wildcard move, flees with the animals in a truck. Jade sneakily in tow, determined to protect Scruffy. Chaos ensues as Shendu gives chase, leading to a high-speed chase that ends dramatically at the city zoo. Here, Shendu thinks he's cornered his prey, trapping the Chans and preparing to reclaim his former powers. But Uncle, armed with ancient knowledge pilfered from Wong himself, sets a trap, casting a spell that restores Shendu to his statue form. And scattering his powers into the newly crafted talismans. As the dust settles and the vault door clangs shut on Shendu's stony prison, Jackie and Captain Black agree to let Jade keep Scruffy, now officially part of the Chan clan. Once again, the world is safe, thanks to the Chan's blend of bravery, magic, and a hefty dose of family teamwork. Man, they're getting good. In the first episode of Season 4, The Masks of the Shadow Khan, Jade's boredom with her state capitals test is short-lived when a new evil stirs. Meanwhile, Uncle pressures Toru to sharpen his chi wizardry, warning him to be ready for what's to come.
Rise, my army of darkness.
Little do they know, a new villain is brewing. Over at a prison kitchen, the enforcers are busy scrubbing pans, when Daolin Wong's attempt to summon the Shadow Khan backfires spectacularly. Instead, he awakens Terakudo, a floating demon head and self-proclaimed king of the Shadow Khan. Terakudo frees the enforcers to help rebuild his army, leaving Wong stewing behind bars. Captain Black alerts the Chans about the enforcers' escape, and Uncle instantly suspects a magical threat. Jade tries to tag along, but is reminded by Jackie that her geography studies aren't optional.
Jade, your geography test is tomorrow.
At the airfield, Terakudo forces the reluctant enforcers to pledge loyalty by threatening them with, you guessed it, barrels. Jackie and the team arrive just in time for chaos. Terakudo shows off his powers, sending the team scrambling, while Jade sneaks aboard the enforcer's plane. The floating head and his new henchmen escape to Hong Kong, leading the Chans to Shendu's former palace. There, Terakudo reveals a chest containing a mysterious mask.
Why don't you see how it fits?
When Jackie snatches it, a scuffle ensues, and the mask accidentally fuses with Chow, giving him superhuman strength and the power to summon a Shadow Khan tribe. Jackie leads the Shadow Khan in a wild chase through the palace, while Uncle crafts a mask removal spell. With Jade's quick thinking, they discover that the Shadow Khan's weapons are forged with Japanese steel, the key to defeating them. Jackie uses Uncle's spell, his glowing hands pulling the mask off Chow, finishing the Shadow Khan in a puff of smoke. Chow's attempt to flee is cut short when Toru delivers a satisfying boo right back at him. But the victory is short-lived. Uncle uncovers a chilling prophecy. Terakudo has 9 Oni generals, each tied to a mask that can summon a Shadow Khan tribe. Should these masks unite, they could plunge the earth into eternal darkness. Uncle's cry sets the stage for a globe-trotting quest, with Toru as their Oni expert and Jade all too eager for another adventure.
Yes! New adventure, find the mask, be the Shadow Khan.
And well, Jackie? Not so much. In Samurai Ratso, Jackie sends the Oni mask from the last episode to Section 13, warning Captain Black to lock it up and let nobody wear it. Meanwhile, the next mask's trail leads the Chans to Tokyo, Japan. At a history museum, Jade finds a wall full of masks, one giving Toru the heebie-jeebies. That's when Terakudo, king of the Shadow Khan, reveals himself, summoning the enforcers to retrieve the mask. Hawk Fu frantically tries on masks, while Jade topples them into a pile for extra confusion. Terakudo cleverly transforms himself to match the mask, leading to a brawl. In the scuffle, Ratso faceplants into the real mask, which fuses to him, transforming him into a Shadow Khan commander. Uncle quickly orders a mask removal spell, but Ratso's new Razor Khan warriors prove tougher than expected, forcing the Chans to flee. Later, Uncle uncovers a legendary deck of Hanafuda cards, said to reveal each mask's removal spell ingredient. Skeptical but desperate, the team heads to Matsue to find the cards, only to be ambushed by Ratso and his Razor Khan aboard a train. Jade attempts a classic onion throw, but Ratso takes a bite unimpressed. Narrowly escaping, they arrive to discover the shrine housing the cards has been replaced by a car factory. Inside, the factory president laughs off their warning until Razor Khan appears. While Jackie battles Shadowcon, Jade and Toru decipher the cards, revealing Japanese silk as the ingredient. Uncle shows up just in time with a fuse stun spell, clearing the room of ninjas. Empowered by the removal spell, Jackie rips the mask off Ratso, sending the Shadowcon packing. Back at Section 13, Jackie secures the mask, now armed with a secret weapon, Onion Defense.
It would appear Chang possesses the cards. Oh, yeah.
The latest Oni mask, Ikazuki's no less, is snagged by a fisherman's net in The Demon Behind. Jackie, Jade, and Toru recover it, but not before Toru ends up wearing a fresh coat of fish.
I hate fish.
By the time they return to Uncle's shop, Toru is drained, but Uncle has no sympathy, piling on chores with his signature, "One more thing."
One more thing. Do not forget to sweep.
Yes, Sensei.
One more thing. Sink is clogged.
Toru's patience finally snaps, leading to a full-on Cold War between him and Uncle. The two refuse to speak directly to each other, instead communicating through Jade and Jackie like disgruntled roommates. Amidst this tension, the mask looms large. It belongs to Ikazuki, Terrakuda's second in command, and Jade suggests animating it with the Rat Talisman for interrogation. At Section 13, the plan goes south very fast when the newly animated Ikazuki is less than cooperative. Worse, he sets his sights on Toru as the perfect host.
Tell us how to defeat Terrakudo?
I shall devour your brains!
A heated argument between Uncle and Toru distracts everybody just long enough for Ikazuki to vanish. Turns out, he's latched onto Toru's back, hitching rides from jacket to jacket before slipping out of Section 13 on an unsuspecting agent. Ikazuki's escape ends in an unexpected twist. He attaches himself to Finn's pants. And there goes a mortified Finn unknowingly becoming the host for Ikazuki and summoning the Samurai Khan, 6-foot-tall sword-wielding Shadow Khan. The Chans track him down, but Ikazuki's Shadow Khan overwhelmed Toru, dragging him into the shadows. Uncle, racked with guilt, uses drastic measures to save him, including a forbidden shadow portal spell. Meanwhile, Ikazuki interrogates Toru in a warehouse, demanding the removal potion.
But we are never gonna bring this up again.
I'm not even here.
The Chans arrive through the portal, and Jackie squares off with the Shadow Khan while Uncle frees Toru. The battle is intense, with Ikazuki forcing Finn to fight using bizarre handstand kicks. But the tide turns when Finn, fed up with being a host and treated like furniture, grabs the potion and removes the mask himself. The Samurai Khan vanish, and Ikazuki is rendered powerless.
Gotta go.
With the mask inert once more, Uncle and Toru reconcile, proving that even the most stubborn duo can find common ground, especially when they just saved each other's lives. As Finn finally makes it to the bathroom, the Chans head home after a long day in the office. In The Shadow Eaters, the Chans head to the bayou for the 8th Oni mask, but things go sideways when Jade loses the Hanafuda card in the water, and it's probably eaten by an alligator. At a creepy shack, they discover the mask and meet Miss Kimber, a celebrity psychic who claims Hakufu is destined to take it. Right on cue, Hakufu storms in, grabs the mask, and summons Shadow Khan only to find his ninjas are pocket-sized. Frustrated, he storms off with his mini-con, leaving one behind. Back at Uncle's shop, the team captures the mini-con for study. Everyone calls it a night, but Toru decides to feed the tiny ninja a cookie, but then it gets devoured by his shadow instead. Toru collapses into a coma, and the mini-con grows into a ferocious beast before Jade zaps it with Uncle's blowfish, forcing it to flee. Uncle explains that shadows are tied to a person's chi.
And without this part of our life force, we are doomed to a state of limbo.
They believe the solution is to remove Hakufu's mask. Armed with vacuum packs, the incomplete removal spell, and Uncle's blowfish, Jackie and Jade head into the city to stop the mini-con army. Meanwhile, Hakufu trains as Shadow Khan, skeptical of their power, until Terrakuda demonstrates by having them eat Chao's shadow. What? Hakufu realizes the destructive potential and unleashes them on the city. Jackie and Jade vacuum up Mini-Con while dodging Hakufu. Uncle frantically researches the missing spell ingredient, turning up absurd results like shoelace of giraffe. Above all of that, a Mini-Con grows to skyscraper size. Finally, Uncle caves and calls Miss Kimber, learning the missing ingredient is a fish. Jade uses the blowfish to complete the spell, and Jackie removes the mask, ending the Shadow Khan chaos.
Sensei?
Oil painting! Uncle must learn to take time out for Uncle.
In the J-Tots, Chang busts out of prison, assembling an anti-J team to take down Jackie and his crew. When Uncle gets wind of this, the J team is immediately dispatched to intercept Chang, who's after his prized Jade artifact at the museum. Jade, of course, wants in on the action, but Jackie insists that she stay behind for once. Not one to follow orders, Jade hatches a plan of her own. At Uncle's shop, Jade swipes a spell from the Chi spellbook, intending to make herself the team's leader. However, her incantation backfires. Instead of making the Jade team respect her authority, it turns them into toddlers. Yep, you heard that right, toddlers. Jackie, Viper, El Toro, and Toru are now pint-sized, mischievous versions of themselves, complete with their adult personalities but childlike impulses. Uncle takes one look and immediately shouts, "Hi-ya! Jade, what have you done?"
What have you done to us, Jade?
Jade quickly learns that wrangling toddler versions of the Jade team is no small feat.
Jade and Paco sitting in a tree.
Okay, children.
Jackie climbs on a furniture to practice kung fu. Viper sneaks into Uncle's secret stash of candy. El Toro starts an impromptu wrestling match with a stack of spellbooks, and Toru is just very hungry. Meanwhile, Uncle frantically searches for a reversal spell, muttering about how magic must defeat magic between fits of exasperation. Then, toddler Jackie overhears Jade mention Shang's plan. Deciding they must save the day themselves, the J-Tots escape the shop and head for the museum, leaving Jade and Uncle in hot pursuit. At the museum, the anti-J team is mid-heist when they're hilariously interrupted by the toddler brigade. Despite their tiny stature, the J-Tots wreak havoc, using their unrefined but effective skills to trip up the bad guys.
Puebla Puplex!
Ew, stinkies!
Uncle arrives just in time to reverse the spell, restoring the J-team to normal. Back at the shop, Jade learns her lesson, sort of.
You are so grounded.
Chang is not the only one who is grounded, Jade.
In the season finale, Ninja Twilight, Jackie and Jade locate the 9th Oni mask at the bottom of the ocean. While Jackie is relieved that Terracuda isn't around, Jade grumbles about missing an epic good versus evil battle royale.
This is the last Oni mask. Where are Terracudo and his goons?
Little does she know, Terracudo is following their bubbles with a sinister grin. Back at Section 13, the mask is secured alongside the others, seemingly marking the end of their quest, but things take a not-so-ordinary turn when all 9 masks shatter, freeing the Oni generals. Ikazuki and his crew attack, forcing the chance to use the talismans to escape and lock the Oni inside the vault. Unfortunately, the Oni summon every Shadowkan tribe, creating a massive shroud of darkness that begins to engulf the world. Cue Uncle's classic "Ay-ya!" as he realizes the masks were never meant to be stored together.
Yeah, the darkness is already taking hold.
With no way to banish the Oni, the J-team splits up to stop their shadowy rampage. Jackie refuses to let Jade join, but she sneaks off with Super Moose animated by the Rat Talisman. Meanwhile, Terracudo and Ikazuki seize Section 13 and start imprisoning the J-team one by one. Inside a holding cell, Jade stumbles upon a hidden clue, a 10th mask belonging to Terracudo himself. Uncle crafts a bold plan. Toru, terrified but willing, uses the mark of Terracudo to summon the Shadowkan and retrieve the mask from the Shadow Realm. With Uncle's enchanted sock thread as his lifeline, Toru succeeds, but is overtaken by the tattoo's evil influence.
We have lost Toru to dark forces.
Uncle crafts a spell using a hair from Toru, a potential samurai descendant, to give Terracudo a physical form. Stripped of his psychic powers but still a fierce fighter, Terracudo wreaks havoc until Jade cleverly slaps the mask onto his face. The mask absorbs the Shadow Shroud, the Oni generals, and Terracudo himself. Toru, back to his normal self, asks if it's truly over. Uncle checks for the Willies and declares the mission complete. Quest over. Shadowkan Free Zone re-established. Moving on to the final season of the show. In Relics of Demons Past, just when the Chans thought their demon troubles were over, a new firestorm bursts onto the scene. Enter Drago, Shendu's rebellious son who breaks out of Section 13 like he's late for a villain audition. With a blazing temper and plans to outdo his father, he quickly recruits the enforcers, proving that bad decisions are a family tradition. Drago's mission is as ambitious as it is chaotic. He's hunting down the mystical relics once wielded by the 8 immortals to banish the demon sorcerers. These ancient artifacts don't just look cool, they each contain powerful demon chi. As for Drago's goal, to absorb every last drop and become the ultimate dragon sorcerer. The enforcers are there for moral support, or maybe just because they don't know how to say no to a dragon. Because to be honest, I wouldn't know either. Meanwhile, Uncle feels a magical disturbance and declares it's time for research mode, roping Jackie and Toru into yet another frantic study session. Jade, of course, isn't about to sit this one out. Jackie and Drago clash in a fiery showdown, with Drago flaunting inherited fire powers that make him every bit as dangerous as his dad. The enforcers manage to be mildly helpful for once, but Jade's quick thinking helps Jackie snag the first relic. Drago isn't thrilled, torching half the temple in frustration and vowing that the Chans won't get lucky again. Back in Section 13, Uncle warns that Drago's plan is more dangerous than anything Shendu ever attempted.
6 more immortal relics will have traces of demon chi on them.
If the relics fall into his claws, it's lights out for good. In It's All in the Game, the Chans dive into chaos once again as Uncle unveils his latest magical gadget, a device designed to detect and transfer demon chi. Naturally, this tech marvel works about as smoothly as Uncle's temper when he's out of tea. But hey, that's progress. The first hit is a humble gourd used as a prop on a wildly popular island game show. Yeah, that gourd apparently holds traces of water demon chi. The whole team decide to sign up for the reality TV show to retrieve it. Arriving on the island, Jackie, Jade, Uncle, and Toru are thrown headfirst into the game show, competing as one big, happy family against another team. Jade is thrilled by the challenge, while Jackie, ever the reluctant adventurer, questions how they got here in the first place. Uncle, on the other hand, treats the whole ordeal like a research mission, barking orders while simultaneously dodging tropical hazards. Things heat up when Drago shows up because, of course, he's watching the show too. Spotting the water demon chi in the gourd, he joins the competition. The challenges turn into absolute madness. Rope swings, mud pits, and one suspiciously angry parrot all make cameos. Jackie's quick reflexes and Jade's enthusiasm keep the Chans afloat, but the stakes rise when Drago's fire powers come into play. They snag the gourd just as Uncle uses his device to extract the water demon chi, sealing it safely in Section 13's vault. Meanwhile, Drago storms off, vowing that he'll be the one laughing next time. Back on the island, the Chans celebrate their victory, with Jackie insisting it's definitely time for a vacation somewhere quiet. In the episode Black and White and Chi All Over, Jade's birthday takes a backseat to demon drama. After yet another failed raid on Section 13, Drago decides it's time to up his villain game with fresh recruits. His current crew of enforcers just isn't cutting it anymore. Uncle's Chi magic radar starts going haywire, signaling that not one but 2 demon Chi powers have just activated. Naturally, the party screeches to a halt as Jackie and company scramble to figure out the situation. Jade, ever the action fan, protests that demon Chi hunting can be a birthday activity. But then again, Jackie's not a big fan of Jade's ideas. Drago makes his move, putting out an open call for henchmen with attitude. Their first mission is to steal the activated demon chi from the Chans before they can secure it. Drago wastes no time teaching his new crew the art of fiery mayhem. Literally, turning them into serious threats with a dose of dragon chi. The Chans track the first demon chi to a panda sanctuary in China, where things quickly go from serene to, not so serene. One panda gets infused with demon chi, transforming it into a fierce, glowing black and white protector. Jade uses her quick thinking and birthday wish energy to neutralize the panda while Jackie wrestles with Drago's fiery recruits. The second chi power, however, leads the group to an ancient temple, where Uncle finally works his magic, sealing both demon chi powers safely away. Jade saves the day, but not before pointing out that she deserves the last slice of cake. Chi battles or not, it's her birthday after all. In Dragon Scouts, Jackie takes on a seemingly simple task, transporting the golden squid, a priceless artifact, to the Museum of Natural History. But nothing stays simple for long. 3 masked thugs ambush his truck in broad daylight, and Jackie leaps into action. After a brawl on the truck bed, Jackie recovers the golden squid, only for the thieves to make a clumsy helicopter escape. Jackie's day might be saved, but the mystery of the thieves lingers on. Back at the museum, Captain Black calls to debrief Jackie, who immediately suspects Finn, Ratso, and Chow. Recently released for community service, the trio doesn't exactly scream reformed. Captain Black isn't convinced, but Jackie knows trouble when he sees it. Meanwhile, Jade shakes things up at home. Tired of Buttercup Scouts and their cookie-selling ways, she decides to join the Dragon Scouts. They're all about adventure, she announces, tossing her Buttercup uniform into a charity box. Jackie, skeptical, points out that Dragon Scouts used to be boys only.
Welcome to the new millennium, where girls are hot and boys are not.
Jade counters with a smirk. The next morning, Jackie drops Jade at school, where they pass 3 boys skulking in the hallway. Jade doesn't recognize them, but their shifty demeanor raises Jackie's suspicions, and rightfully so. Later that day, he catches none other than Finn, Ratso, and Chow trying to break into a school locker. Jackie's glare says it all. Game over, guys. But Jade, ever the wild card, has her own agenda. With Dragon Scouts offering a dose of mischief and mayhem, and Jackie trying to connect the dots between the Golden Squid and his old foes, they soon realize that this adventure is far from over. The Chans snag the Sky Demon Chi-infused flute in Australia and haul it back to Section 13 in The Demon Beneath My Wings. Uncle sets up his trusty Chi-O-Matic to safely transfer the Chi, but Jade, in classic Jade fashion, sneaks the device along her school field trip to Windsor Mansion. This, of course, can only lead to disaster. Things escalate when Jade's teacher, Mrs. Hartman, confiscates the Chi-O-Matic. Completely unaware of its power, she activates the device and absorbs the Sky Demon Chi, transforming into a fearsome Sky Demon with a sudden appetite for chaos. While Jade stares slack-jawed at the unfolding mess, Windsor Mansion starts looking like a storm zone. Uncle discovers the Chi-O-Matic missing and immediately pieces together what's happened. Because, honestly, who else but Jade? The team rushes to the mansion, where Jackie and Toru face the airborne Miss Hartman, dodging wind blasts and flying furniture. Uncle begins whipping up a Chi extraction spell, all while shouting instructions at Jade to gather the necessary ingredients. Jackie and Toru try to keep Miss Hartman grounded long enough for Uncle to work his magic. Uncle finishes the spell, and the Sky Demon Chi is safely removed, leaving Miss Hartman human and very confused. Back at Section 13, the Chi-O-Matic finally does its job, and Jade gets the lecture of a lifetime. In Mirror Mirror, the Chans take a trip to Uncle's hometown, Fengdu, a city set to be flooded for a new dam project. What's meant to be a quiet visit quickly turns spooky when they stumble across an ancient mirror.
Our only purpose is to grant wishes.
But surprise, this isn't just a regular reflective surface. It's a prison for malevolent spirits that can make your worst fears come to life. So naturally, Jade's curiosity gets the better of her, and she accidentally releases them. Things take a terrifyingly funny turn when the spirits start possessing the Chans. Jackie's worst fear inflates his ego. Literally. Jade transforms into a donkey, yeah, that's exactly what you think. Uncle loses his voice, and Toru, well, he becomes a perfect copy of his overbearing mom. Realizing they've unleashed a potential nightmare epidemic, the Chans rush to figure out how to re-imprison the spirits. Their search leads them to the Ghost King statue atop a mountain, where a rare moss for the sealing spell grows. Jackie's epic climb is a sight to behold, but the punchline comes when he finds Jade waiting at the top. She took the tram.
I'm stubborn, not stupid.
Armed with Uncle's sealing potion, the Chans bait the spirits back into reflective surfaces. With a little teamwork, some quick thinking, and Uncle's magical know-how, they manage to trap the malevolent entities once again, lifting the curse and saving the day. Uncle gives one of his classic wisdom-filled warnings: never trust ancient mirrors.
These will be safe back at Section 13.
Jade, meanwhile, jokes about wanting to bring the mirror home for decorative purposes. Yeah. Right, Jade. In this next episode, Clash of the Titanics, the Chans dive headfirst into the icy Arctic, hunting down the immortal castanets, containing the Thunder Demon Chi. The relic lies trapped in the Oceanic, a massive shipwreck that Jade jokes is basically the Arctic's version of the Titanic. Jackie, decked out in full scuba gear, braves the freezing depths to recover the castanets, while Jade and Uncle wait anxiously topside. But the waters aren't just cold. They're crowded. Drago, alongside his frosty henchmen, Strike Master, Ice, and crew, crashes the underwater treasure hunt with one thing in mind: snagging the Chi before the Chans. After navigating the eerie wreck, Jackie locates the castanets just as Drago's gang swoops in for an ambush. Jackie narrowly escapes with the relics, but the rapid ascent leaves him suffering from decompression sickness, or the bends. Back on the ship, a dazed Jackie hilariously stumbles around, channeling some drunken master energy. Just as everyone thinks they're in the clear, Drago storms the ship. He snatches the castanets and absorbs the Thunder Demon Chi. Suddenly, he's supercharged, with electricity crackling all around him. Strike Master Ice and his crew cheer as Drago's new power threatens to turn their small victory into a full-blown disaster. The Chans, meanwhile, find themselves stuck in the freezing middle of the ocean without a clear plan or any working heaters. Back at Section 13, once they're rescued, of course, Uncle declares that the fight isn't over. Drago might have one Chi now, but the Chans vow to stop him before he can collect the rest. To prevent Drago's escape, the Chans engage in a high-seas showdown. Utilizing Uncle's quick thinking and a bit of Chi magic, they manage to separate Drago from the castanets, neutralizing the Thunder Demon Chi's threat for now. With the castanets secured, the Chans return to Section 13, knowing that Drago remains a formidable adversary. In Stealing Thunder, Drago takes a dangerous step of the villain ladder by absorbing Chongzu's Thunder Demon Chi. With a boost of lightning power coursing through him, Drago decides to make a flashy statement. He sets up shop in Seattle's iconic Space Needle, planning to use an incoming thunderstorm to supercharge his new abilities. Because being evil isn't enough. You have to be all theatrical about it. Meanwhile, the Chan family, Jackie, Jade, Uncle, and Toru, is on high alert. They know if the Thunder Demon Chi fuses permanently with Drago, taking him down will be next to impossible. The team prepares for battle. Uncle dives into his magic arsenal, chanting up spells and brewing potions. Toru, the gentle giant, readies himself for another round of Demon Chi saving heroics.
Jade, what are you doing?
Is this a trick question?
Jade, ever the firecracker, contributes her unique blend of unfiltered enthusiasm and mischief, which usually works. Eventually. The episode leads us at the Space Needle under a dramatic sky, where Drago wields his electrifying powers like a twisted god of thunder. Lightning flashes, the winds howl, and Drago sends bolts of energy flying at anybody who dares to interfere. The Chans, undeterred, counters attacks with their combined expertise. Jackie's kung fu, Jade's daring improvisations, Toru's sheer strength, and Uncle's iconic magic must defeat magic mantra come together in a climactic battle. Drago comes dangerously close to completing his ritual, but Jackie's quick thinking disrupts the process just in time. With Uncle's magic sealing the deal, they manage to extract the Thunder Demon Chi and secure it before it binds permanently to Drago. Uncle reminds everybody, as always, that this victory is only one of many battles ahead. As the episode closes, the family gets ready for their next mission. Because when you're saving the world one chi at a time, there's no such thing as a vacation. In The Powers That Be, Part 1, Strike Master Ice and his crew make their move, capturing Jackie, Uncle, and Captain Black. Their ransom being Section 13's chi containment unit, now loaded with all 8 demon chi powers. Talk about a high-stakes hostage situation. Meanwhile, Jade decides it's time for some spellcraft sabotage. She ropes in Toru to whip up a magical plan to derail Drago's ambitions. But the problem is spell ingredients don't really grow on trees. While Jackie and Captain Black cook up a diversion to help Uncle escape, Jade sneaks off to visit none other than Shendu himself to snag the final ingredient. Back at the Golden Gate Bridge, the action ramps up as Strike Master Ice and his crew pull a double-cross turning on Drago. Their master plan is to, of course, absorb the demon chi themselves and toss Drago into the bay like yesterday's trash. For a moment, it seems like the villains are about to implode under their own betrayal, but things take a fiery turn when Uncle arrives just in time to remove the chi from Ice and his lackeys. Victory is within reach, or so it seems. Enter Drago, stage left, with a spell up his sleeve. Before the chi can be secured in the Chi-O-Matic, Drago steals the show literally by absorbing all 8 demon chi powers himself. Now packing every demonic ability in the arsenal, Drago transforms into an unstoppable force of fiery destruction. Toru tries to use his spell to extract the chi from Drago, but it's no good. The episode ends on a massive cliffhanger, literally, as Drago demolishes the Golden Gate Bridge, setting everybody plunging toward disaster. In this overall series finale, The Powers That Be Part 2, things kick off with chaos. As in, literal chaos. Drago's absorbed all the demon chi, and the Golden Gate Bridge is in ruins. Jackie, Jade, Uncle, and Toru barely escape the plunge and regroup at Section 13. Captain Black lays out the grim situation. Drago's gone full supervillain mode, and the city is in danger. Uncle, undeterred, heads to Shendu's vault for answers. But Shendu, predictably, offers little help, except for gloating that the combined demon chi is unstoppable.
Release me. I will deal with Drago and see that you are spared.
Uncle's response is a refusal to release the dragon demon. Meanwhile, Strike Master Ice and his crew are learning the hard way that betrayal doesn't sit well with Drago. With a flick of his earth chi, he buries them up to their necks before transforming into an even bigger, badder demon. Back at Uncle's shop, the enforcers knock on the door offering their help. Yeah, you heard that right. Uncle, skeptical but desperate, puts them to work on a spell. As the Section 13 team heads to a junkyard showdown with Drago, things escalate. Drago blasts in with his fiery entrance, leaving Captain Black muttering, "This is a bad day," while Jackie tries to hold the line. Drago grants his henchmen a chi power upgrade. Ice gets earth, Cobra gets wind, and DJ Fist gets thunder. The reinvigorated Ice crew storms Section 13, with Jade and Toru scrambling to stop them. Jade grabs the talismans and makes a daring escape, while Toru gets stuck holding up a collapsing ceiling. The final battle unfolds at a baseball stadium beneath Drago's ominous crimson funnel cloud. The Jade team, now powered by the talismans, faces off against the chi-enhanced Ice crew. Enter Shendu, furious at his son's betrayal, and it's demon versus demon in a fiery stadium smackdown. But the fight tips when Uncle and Toru cast a banishment spell, sending Drago, Shendu, and the demon chi back to the netherworld. With the day saved, Uncle declares Toru a full chi wizard, and Captain Black praises Jade's strategy, hinting at her future with Section 13. The episode ends with laughter, and Drago and Shendu bickering eternally in the netherworld.
Yes! One more thing!
And so, the curtain closes on the whirlwind adventure that is Jackie Chan Adventures. From battling demons and chasing talismans to outsmarting villains and unleashing epic chi magic, the Jade team showed us what it means to stand together against impossible odds. Through laughter, lessons, and a little chaos, thanks Jade, they've saved the world more times than Uncle can count. And that's saying something. The magic may rest for now, but the legend of Jackie and his crew lives on, reminding us that courage, wit, and a sprinkle of chi magic can conquer anything. Until next time. Thanks
to the winning team.